How'd you get so far? Got up and on? Y'all must have rolling around or something.
All right, if y'all will go ahead, we're going to begin the presentation phase. But before we do that, there's some people here that really need a great round of applause. And that's all these wonderful cooks who put this dinner together tonight. If we could. I have already heard how many bakers of cornbread were made in this joint. And I already know Philip came through with chicken and a lot of other things. And all y'all who made pies and everything, we appreciate it. But there's going to be a small tussle toward the end of this because somewhere between Mr. Gene Harden, Anthony Bargainer, and myself, one of us is leaving with those collards. So you know, Anthony has a gun. I think he's going to win. So we'll go from there. Speaking of Anthony Bargainer, Lieutenant Anthony Bargainer is here with the Greenville Police Department. He has a few remarks to make at this time.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
First of all, I'll be remiss if I did not mention those collard greens because they're God sent. I believe Ms. Ada Lee gave us a short story about how those collard greens came about. She was by the office at City Hall one morning and she was telling Ms. Butler about how she had picked some collard greens, about 15 bags of them to be exact, I believe, and actually had bagged them and put them in the deep freezer, but didn't know, what she was going to do with all those collard greens. So I believe God had a plan for those collard greens. And so, anyway, on behalf of the city of Greenville, we would like to thank everybody here tonight for being such a blessing to our city and to our county. And we really want to congratulate you on the awards that you will be receiving on tonight. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you on tonight.
We've seen some talented people in the kitchen and we've partaken of that which they prepared for us. But we have equally as talented people here in Butler County who can do a little bit of everything. It's my pleasure now to show what that talent is, and don't worry, it's not me. Elnoria and Carissa Grayson are going to bless us with a song. At this time, if you're through with, if you don't want that compile, just bring that here and I'll take care of it.
Good evening, everyone. Carissa and I are going to we're going to put our little bit into this program this afternoon. We're happy to be here on this program. We're going to do a song that says, "His eye is on the sparrow." We hope and trust that you enjoy it. Why should I feel discouraged? And why should the shadows come
Wonderful. This time, we're going to get into the meat of the program, so to speak. We've got a couple of people up here who want to make some comments. First on, Mr. Jimmy Crum, who's just about through performing his duty that he's got to do otherwise. We missed the time. Actually, we have one more thing in here, but I don't know about y'all, but how many other events did y'all have the opportunity to go to tonight? 3 or 4? It's like everything in Butler County is happening tonight. So we want to thank y'all for taking time out of your schedule to be here and take care of this. Jimmy, if you'd like to make a few remarks.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I assume most of you all know me. Some of them shaking their head, they want to forget. But I am so proud to see you all out tonight. What we are doing, we don't need any hype for ourselves. And people in the county have done good things. They've been key elements to a lot of things. And it went for some of them, things wouldn't have happened at other levels. So, everybody sometimes recognizes for some things that they do. And I came up with an idea, and I mentioned it to some people. One of the persons I mentioned it to don't talk near as much as I do. Mr. Ada B.
Amazed you got a word in.
So, but she works a lot. And it's hard for people to tell her no. And she told me that when I get to her, she told me that she cherished that. And had one more person that's not here, Miss Janet Stanton, down at 911 or 911, whichever you call it. She had to go to a wedding. It was a free plan. She went to a wedding out in California. Other than that, she would have been here. She didn't want to come, but it was kind of inevitable that she went. And so she is not here tonight. And I would like you all to give her a hand for the work that she's doing. Thank you all. And Ms. Ada Lee has some things, like I said, she doesn't talk much, but she has a few things that she wants. And I appreciate her, and I also appreciate Miss Joey King. I appreciate her, she done help us. And I didn't know she could cook cornbread, but she could. And right now, I'll yield the house back to you.
Well, I appreciate it. Mr. Max, anything you want to add to that? Oh, no. That works. Miss Ada Lee, I believe it's time for you to do what you need to do.
First, I'd like to thank each and every one of y'all for coming, but I want to let you know I did not start this. When I start something, I do a good job, but when someone else starts a good job and comes to my house and asks me, I can help them just as good if I started it. And I want to let you know that Crum and 2 or 3 more come to see me and said they'd love to honor people in Butler County. And there wasn't anything I like in the valley because we just done the police department. I don't think you could have ever done anything as good as we done for them and how much they appreciated it. Some of them cried to me about it, said we've never been thought about. So you don't ever know when you're doing something for someone that it'll mean a lot. And so when Crum came, I said, yeah, I would love to help you with it. And we got together and different people went to calling and wanted to help and do. And the only way in the world you can get anything done is working with everybody. I worked at Boss 30 years to educate my children. I never worked, but I wanted my children to have an education. I didn't mind working at Boston. I had the most wonderful man to work with, Mr. Russell Parrish. And nobody could ever have any better worker, gentleman, than Mr. Russell Parrish. And it's wonderful to know that you can work with a company like that and meet people like Miss Betty Guthrie back there tonight. She and I worked side by side for 30 years. The thing is about it is you learn to love people you work with because you're with them every day. And the thing is about it is, first thing I want to do, it takes money to do anything. And I've been taking up money 60 years and nobody has never said no to me. A man said the other day, what would you do if somebody said, well, I ain't gonna give you none? I said, when I sit down in his chair and go to swallow it, he give me money to pay. I turned tears, I was just like waterfall. The first thing I went to was the Butler County Bank, because Mr. William Johnson is a wonderful friend of mine. I'm proud of him, he's proud of me too, though. But anyway, and then he gave himself in the bank. Then Mr. Boyd Foster, Cleve Food, Mark Snell, and Sand and Gravel, Mr. Butts, Jimmy Jones, and Joey Casey, Miss Bertha Yeller, who has just played a wonderful part. The salad, the collard greens, the tea, and all of that. She just called and said, well, she's been my friend for 60 years. And me and her ain't that very old, much older than that. And in the sheriff department, his sister Vicky called, and you're not cooking the cornbread. Joy's cooking bread, I'll cook you 150 muffins, and she cooked the muffins. So when you get to doing good things like that, people hears about it, they would like to be part of it. They don't ask who all is coming. Or someone called me and said, well, if I come, are you going to take up collection? I said, no, I don't take up collection. We want to feed you, to tell you we love you, and we'd love for you to come if you want to. And we sent out invitations. We want to do this annually. We own the little account at the bank, and what we're doing, if any of us wants to go by and do it a year and put some in there, run up with some money that somebody gives you, and you say, well, I'd like to give on it, and put it in there. Because next year we're going to have a new group, an attitude. I can't say enough about super food. Because Mr. Graham helped me with the food program when I had it, and he did an excellent job. And him and his wife are two of the most sweetest people in this town. And I said, I want you there with me. I just didn't say, please come. I just wanted to tell him I want him to be part of it. Because he's been part of my life ever since I've been in Green. I've been up here 64 years working. And we appreciate both of them. It's never asking for a favor that he didn't do. The sheriff department, his jail man over there, Mr. Al, he got me there. I called him yesterday and I said, oh my Lord, I forgot we got to have ice, and we got to have pails, and I don't drink, and I don't keep no ice bucket. He said, I'll get you one, so he brought it into the, see, if you'll call people and ask them and treat them right, but just don't use them when you want something. Because every time in life, sooner or later, somebody will knock on your door and want something. Don't turn them away. Why, my husband was so sick. I would love to tell y'all this. I was sitting in the room with him, in the back room where he said, and somebody knocked on my door. And I opened the door, and it was a little black girl. And she had a little baby, her little feet going together. I'd never seen a lady before. And I said, would you come in? And she came in, and she said, you are Miss Williams? And I said, yeah. And she said, I said, how did you know where I was at? She said, I called the police department, they want to knew you. I said, what can I do for you? She said, well, I'm supposed to be in Birmingham. It was 10:15. I'm supposed to be in Birmingham at 3:30 this evening for them to operate on her little feet and take them apart. And the man that was going to buy my gas and the one that was going to pay for my room didn't show up. And I called the police department and said, do you think she'd help me? I said, go to her house and knock on the back door. So she was sitting there. And any other time, I never keep money at home. But I went that afternoon to the loan somebody $150 the next morning, and I have that money, he hadn't picked it up. And I called John Andrews, and I said, John, you got a credit card? He said, yes, ma'am, what you want? I said, would you let me come with her and let her get her a tank of gas, and I'll give her this $150 so she can go and get those little feet operating. He said, I'll be glad to, Miss Daly. Come on up here. So about 3 weeks after then, though, Papa was still living, we heard a knock on the door. And that woman opened that door, and that little girl walked to me. And my husband cried for 2 hours. He said, what if you hadn't had the money? I said, well, I said, it was on Wednesday. I said, the bank's still open. But I don't hardly, I just don't keep money. But the thing, she took the time to bring me back and let me see that little girl. And I said, I want to be part of her life as she grows up. If you need more help, you let me know I'll help. So you don't never know. It's good to have lots of money in the bank. It's real good to bank your money. But banking your money ain't going to get you to heaven. It's not going to get you to heaven. You don't have to throw your money away, but you can save money, but you can help people. Because sometimes you got more than a whole lots of people in the sky. And it's just good to, in my life, until I go home to be with Papa, it will be helping people. And the thing is about it, we have a commissioner here tonight. He's Eugene Waston. And he's always been part of my life ever since I was seeing him and my father play ball together. And the reason we always had good commissioners, we have good commissioners now, but when Judge Beadle was there, because Eugene Waston was someone that worked with people, he knew how to save money, he didn't throw money away, and we always had a good time, Eugene. And he's always been, he and Francis has always been part of me, and I love him, and I respect him, and I thank him so much for coming tonight because I feel like he wanted to be part of this because we've never done anything even like this for Gene or even others. And so we want to have it annual, and we would appreciate anybody that's here tonight to come back and be with us. Now let me give you a few more people that have. Jimmy Gardner, myself, Richard Hartley, R.E.L., and the Gerald Bogdan Coolers, and Jesse McWilliams. He cooked the hams. I'm going to tell you, there was 38 pounds, 4 hams. He cooked them. And I got up at 3 o'clock this morning, and I was going to, he sliced them for me. Peter Wiggin is the one that sliced them for me. So when he did, I got up and was going to cut. All I had to do was cut the bone out, and I would pick it up, and you could lay it down. There were 300 pieces, Jesse, of those things when I got through with all of them. And I sure do appreciate it. And then Fred, the little gentleman there, he gave all the plates, napkins, spoons, forks, and all of that. And tonight, I want each and every one of y'all to think about it. Next week, you pick someone that you might know about. I found someone today about a girl that I'm going to take dinner to her and her mama tomorrow. I love this guy with cancer in George Hammond. And she can't just eat anything, but I found out she could eat. And I'm going to take lunch to her tomorrow. And find someone that's sick, can't do for themselves, it'll make your life a whole lot better. And the more you do for someone like that, you don't do it to be bragging about it. Somebody said, well, people you do for it can't send you a thank you note. I don't care about a thank you note unless you want to send me one. I don't do it for a thank you note. It comes from my heart. And let me tell you one thing right now. There are lots of sick people that's sick and needs your help. And they would appreciate you coming and bringing them and doing something for them. And I love each and every one of you all. And if I can ever do anything to help any of you all, just knock on my door. Okay? Thank you.
Well, I would say the majority of people here have felt the Lord Guest, Miss Ada Lee and other folks in this room at some time. It's just now it's time to recognize people who have made exemplary contributions in one way or another. And too many times we tend to look at achievements that reach lofty goals, but sometimes it's the one person that guides someone on their way or makes the one comment that changes someone from a direction they were down. Those are people we don't always see, but those are the people who literally change the world. So, Mr. Jimmy, Miss Ailey, Miss Joey, I believe it's time to make a few presentations.
Jimmy, go.
All right?
I'm going to present these in the order that I have them here. I talk about alphabetical order, then some of my enemies may not like that. And so I'm going to go as the order I got them in here. And when I call your name, please come forward. Mike Marcus. We have known you over the years, and you talk just about as much as the Savior. So,
I get paid for it, though.
so it's a pleasure to me to present this award to you, the Courage Community Award,
Thank you, Jimmy.
for your endeavor over the years for Butler.
Thank you. I saw Jimmy last Monday, and he asked me to be here tonight. And he said, you've been in radio a long time, haven't you? I said, 40 years this month. And it took Jimmy to make me feel old. I felt pretty good up until that time. Just kidding. No, I've enjoyed all 40 years, and I think the next 40 is the best to come.
One little story, little short story that I got to tell about it. He was up in the booth, he and Terry Gold, they talk about football while the game is going on. And the whole team, they ran a play, and the fellow that had that football was coming directly at me. So I didn't see but one thing to do is find a way off the field. And when I got over there to the fence, me and the stick I had was laying down, and here they come. And I heard a loud roar from up in that booth. And it was, here we go. It was real funny to them that they thought I had the football.
Thank you.
The next recipient of this award is Dean Thompson. The next one is Marvin Thompson. There you go. We have one for Mr. Roger Pratt out of Georgiana, but Mr. Roger couldn't be here. He's ill and kind of extreme, and he couldn't make it. I couldn't get up with him for a while. I didn't know, but I think he was in the nursing home. But we sent out a prayer for Mr. Roger Pratt. Next one we have is for a classmate, a schoolmate, I can say classmate, schoolmate. Miss Ella Hawthorne, are you here? She and I went to school together. I just can't tell you when. But we did. And to you, Ms. Allen, for your kindness and your goodness over the years. Discourage the war. I'm proud of you. Hope you appreciate it.
We're proud to be here. Thank you all for your grace and you know, when you always up.
Yeah. Thank you, Ms. Next recipient is Ms. Connie S. Little. I don't guess she's here. The next one is J.O. Lake. The next one is Roseburg Hamilton. I think she is under the weather too. I don't think she could make it. I'll take it back. Miss Magdalene Robinson. Melvin Lake. Bunsfield Bedgood. Oh, here you are. Miss Bunsfield, we are so glad that you could be here. So, and we want to try to do a little something. I know that over the years you are a member of a political organization. You've done a nice with them trying to help bridge the gap between people. And we are proud you're here. We are proud to present to you a Courage Award.
I would like to say that this is quite a shock. When Jimmy called me, I didn't know the nature of what it was going to be, and my son and his family just weren't real, and I had to move in, so I probably was short after this, but I could not turn him down because Jimmy and I have worked for a while in the political arena, as he said. And I've also worked in the community as a nursing for 41 years, and I'm still working. So, but I just like to say to all of you, as Amy has said, that, you know, it doesn't matter. I've gone night or day. The nights never get dark and too long for me to get out. My children's always said you don't never know how to say no, but you don't never know when your time is going to come and you want somebody to say yes for you. So to all of us, you know, we just need to do what we can to help each other because, you know, the life is so short. And to all of you, I'd like to say thank you this evening.
Mr. Robert Bennett. Raymond and Barbara Mallett. William Herring. James Lewis. Now, Mr. Lewis is another one. I think his condition wouldn't allow him to make it. We also sent a prayer out for him. F. Hilliard. Ronald Herring. Lawrence Philpott. Fred and Lena Bennett. They,
And also about
okay, we're going to thank you, Ms. Johnson, for accepting the Liberty Award.
And I know you will.
Yeah. next fellow is a unique fellow. I was commissioner, and I used to ride around with him a good bit. And he had a good habit. Really. We would ride around the community, and people would give us like vegetables and things of that nature. And they would give him more than he would eat. So he would give me some of the vegetables that they gave him. Now, I'm going to tell y'all a story. I'm going to have to act this one out a little bit. Because this here is a unique story. We left Greenville and went due east. And we got out there about 5 miles, then we turned and went due north. And we went up there a little ways, and then we turned and went due east again. So when we got out there, he stopped at this house, and this person was gathering tomatoes. I mean, they huge tomatoes. But they had 2 there that looked like twins, those tomatoes did. And they had a bag and said, Mr. Walker said, I'm going to give you some of these tomatoes. And she took that pretty tomato and put it over in that bag. And while she was putting it in that bag right there, well, Mr. Walden was leaning over too. And then she got that pretty tomato about halfway down in that bag, and she took it back out. He straightened back up. So she had another one, the twin to it. She laid it over there on the bench, and she reached over there and got that other twin to that same tomato. And when she brought it out, she held it up over that bag, and Mr. Walden. Now, I was standing due east, and he was standing due east looking north. And she was standing due east looking north. And she took that other tomato and put it around, and about this time, now he don't help that person put that tomato in the bag. He went way over it, and she held that tomato down a little while. And after he straightened up, he said, phew. So we left there, never getting either one of those tomatoes. Now, one more story I got to tell you. It's on the same thing. I was commissioner up there, and I am proud to have been there while he was there. I learned a lot from him. We had a pump, and every so often they are honor people that has tenure. A certain year, I think they went from 16 up, they would give them a tenure. And Mr. Butler got one too, the 16 years. That's his tenure commission. And Mr. Walden was 32 consecutive years. He's the only commissioner in the state of Alabama has ever been a commissioner that long. His one more had been there more than 32 years, but he was off. They gave him a vacation for a while, and then they re-elected him. So Mr. Marsden told me, he said, Crum, I'll be fair with you. I want you to do something for me. So I said, all right. I said, well, you go up there and accept that award for me. So I sit there, and when they got to calling out the award, I said, they're going to get to me sooner or later. So when they said, Mr. Eugene Watt, I kind of looked around like that. Then I got up. And I eased on up there, and folks would congratulate me. Said, Mr. Watt, you've been there that long. Said, congratulations, Mr. Watt. So I showed up struggling on up there. Till today, they think that I am Mr. Watt. And that day changed my life a whole lot too. Switching over to Mr. And they'll see me sometime now, them same people, and they'll say, how you doing, Mr. Wall? So, Mr. Gene Walter, do you feel like coming? If you don't, I'll come back there.
Give me a little time.
Well, it's okay. Just take all the time. I'll come back there if you want me to. I'll be glad. Be proud to do.
He run that deal for his fishing from us.
Stop us from fishing on the Alabama River because we were low in the water today.
Tell them about me freezing to death, that's right.
Yeah, we like to probe, but we caught a bucket of fish. Yeah, Mr. Walter, I'm proud to give you this award.
Well, I appreciate it.
Because you contributed more than people know to Butler County. You did. And I appreciate you.
We used to go fishing a lot, and he was gonna get the wall from there down here bowling. About the size of your hat, and oh, he knows how to get it. He got up there, and they got at me, run over me, and I fell down and kept on walking. They like to eat him up. I appreciate it, Jim.
Well, we appreciate you coming.
Yeah.
Calvin and Maxine Steindown. Jane Boyd. She would be here, but she had an engagement. She was going to see her grandson and her great-grandson. And she had it already planned, and she said she couldn't get it. Lambert Bennett.
I presented to me some food I'm on.
Thank you much. Joe Stockton. Walter Stone. Dewey Heavey. Now here's another lady that worked for the county for years and still works for them. And this lady has been an asset to Butler County. She's done some things because they was right to do. I would let y'all know that it was Carol Miller. Ms. Milton, we are, I'm proud to present this $50 award to you because your track record makes you deserve it. It's not good enough, but we're working on it.
I owe it all to y'all, though. It's all my work. I owe it all to y'all to get it to you.
Riley Whit. Miss Turner, Geraldine. John L. and Estelle Womack. Mr. Buckwood, we knew that he couldn't be here, Mr. Buck. Health wouldn't allow him to be here. May Jane Dent, her health wouldn't allow her to be here. Miss Milton Cook. Miss Cook, you all right with me? Your husband and I had lots of good times doing some things that was worth talking. And I know you had to stand by his side for him to do something. And I am proud to present this courage award to you today for your endeavor. Whatever it took to get the most government.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, and I appreciate it.
Mr. Wilson, if you can't make it up, then let me know. I'll come back there. Okay. Mr. Robert Wilson, I think all you all know him. He taught welding and such over there at the school over there. And he done a good job of it. He sure did. He done a real good job of it. I've been knowing him ever since he was young. And he married a lady from the community that I was raised up in, and I've known him ever since. He's a real fellow. He was interested in teaching those children over there in school. He was very interested. He wanted them to learn. He done whatever it took for them to learn over there. Okay, Mr. Wilson, I am proud to present this award to you, this Courage Award.
Thank you. I'm very proud to receive this award. You never know what you are doing now will show up later. That's been more than 30 years ago. Give me my flowers now while I'm doing it.
Miss Bertha Yellowbell.
She's gone. She's left.
Bobby Brown. Red Hawkins. Willie Mae Robinson. Miss Robinson, I'll meet you halfway. Over the years, I understand that you had a pretty good right hand. Because those children went to you back then, you could whip at children.
I can vouch for that.
But, you know, I quit school before I got to you. But we are proud of what the contribution that you made to this county. You may not think it was worth anything at the time, and you had a rough time doing it, but it was worth something. There's people right now understand what you tried to teach and tell them during that era. And I am proud to present this award to you, Courage Award, for your work and patriot of this campaign. Mr. John and Miss Moselle Keesler. Miss Moselle, oh, I am very proud to present this. I remember I was riding a bus coming out down the side, 31 way coming. So about that time, Mr. Kegler had got out of the Army, and he had on his undersuit, and he was teaching school up there on a place called City School Teaching. That way he was teaching students. And I didn't know that the other folks could skip in those suits. But he wasn't skipping, they were doing a merry-go-round, he had the children there done. I thought he was out there just skipping. But that was his work. And I was on the bus to see. And I cherished that day with people to see.
1983.
He had came out of them. Now, Miss People. Miss People, she came from another country to this country. 4-H person. She had an old, but yeah, another city. She had an old car, and I was working at Clark Chevrolet. And she used to bring that old car. That's Clark Chevrolet. So finally, that car got so old, she got her another car. So I am proud to present this award to y'all work.
Thank you, Mr. Crum. Not the thing what we've done, the thing that we left undone in our life, what we were about. I think the biggest, other than this afternoon, thank you for thinking of us for the little things that the little positive things here in Butler County. But I think along with this, the most joy that I get when I see my students from day to day tell me one little statement that I might have made that they felt that it did them well. Thank you very much.
I have to say that I hope you remember more than the old car.
Now, this next person is very helpful, very helpful. He's the last person that let you down. Mr. Eugene Hudson. Mr. Hudson, I don't know how to tell about your track record. But I will say this. This has been a friend of mine for a long time, and he still is. And we have gotten a lot of things done. Lots of things. If he tells you he will do it, he will do it. And he's a member of some organizations that help people to bridge the gap between people He did that. He was faithful there. If it's something he thought was wrong with it, Mr. Hudson would tell you. And he would be ready to go and do the RE. And Mr. Hudson, for what you have contributed to this town, for the reason you did, we want to present you this courtesy award today. We want you to have it. Terry Hudson. Bob Davis. Mowbray Brandon. John Bowie. Gerald Benson. Leroy Tyndall. Charlie Brown. Roy Gandy. His health don't allow him to move around too much. He's in bad health. But so I'll go by and take him. Harold Powell. Now this next person is real person, real. People. Miss Faye.
Jimmy, just excuse me, Reverend Graham. Oh, we've got something.
Come get your board.
Yeah, you go ahead. I'm sorry, Jimmy, but he was fixing to leave. Let's go ahead, Jimmy.
We want you to get your,
Well, that name will be, if you will, you said,
That's
thank you, Butler. That's a good thing. We appreciate you too, Dave. Appreciate you so much.
I've been knowing this gentleman ever since I've been in Greenville. I've been working in Greenville 64 years. Ever how long I've been here when I got to know him, and he used to come down to the office and talk with me about things and all. And I told him, I saw the man that has the big church in Montgomery over there. What's his name? And I said, Johnny, I want to let you know you got a man in Greenville's going to run you slam out of this place up here. And you ought to see what all these balls and everything. He said, well, I better get busy then. I said, Mr. Brown is fixing to put you out of business. And I said, it will be up to that. But I would like to present this for the love that you have shown, not only me, but the people of this town and the church. And I just pray that your good work will keep going with all of the small children coming up and all, coming to church. We go to church there a good bit on Sunday night when we can. And they got so many children and the plays and all. It's just a wonderful church to go to. And Joe and I like to visit church on Sunday night because we don't have church now. But I'm very proud.
Thank you. Been in Greenville for 25 years, and it's the only place our children have known, and been at Southside for those 25 years. And it's been a joy to be in Greenville. We love Greenville and Butler County. And thank all of you for the wonderful things that you do. And what makes Butler County what it is people like you here.
Miss Vale. Oh, Miss Payne. Started off. Do you mind what does want me to come over? Now this is Miss Gertrude Payne. She works at the registrar office that day. And another fellow, we call him Big Mo. His name is James Cannon. James and I would go in there and Gertrude would put up the wood, short story about him. He was shooting Crum once, and this guy got mad with him for some reason, but because they gripped him and shooting. So he got outside the door, and he piled him up some rocks. And I guess he was going to just put this fireball in his hand. So James saw this guy. James weighed about 350, 400. And he saw this guy. So he waited, and the guy somehow got in the line of that door, that screen door. And when he did, Big Motor took off running. And he took the screen door too out that with him, and when he did, all that 400 pounds in that screen door came right down on this guy. And James kind of bounced up off it. And when he did, this guy took off up the street. And he was hollering, a motor fell on me. And about this time, the police was coming down the street. And the police started running, and they stopped. They said, stop him. Said, what's wrong with you? He says, a motor fell on me. He kept saying it, a motor fell on me. So the police said, what kind was it? Cadillac, Buick, Chevrolet? So, but I enjoyed working with Sister Hank. I really did. Yeah, they kind of taught us a few things. Definitely. And we proud to present this award.
Thank you so much. I was with the Board of Registrars in the lead district, Butler County, and if you can imagine a person's attitude, you tell them they've been voting here for 40 years, and now you got to drive 5 miles to a new place to vote. You try telling the person now where they've been living 40 years and got to move, and you'll see what we went.
W.S. Boswell. Billy Hodgson. Charles Kennedy. Mr. Kennedy? Sir. We are proud to come. Yeah, and I'm proud to present this award to you. Something that you did, you may not think is worth anything, you don't think it's worth something, but we know that what you done was the right thing to do when you did. Our organization asked then, he was the city councilman at that time, and we asked them.
And I sure did appreciate it. You're so old. Getting old, no, you're not getting old.
This is a surprise. When they called and asked, we almost didn't make it tonight, but we're so happy to be here, and y'all do such fantastic work here in the community, and we just appreciate y'all. I will be up here, but I know there's people here to love y'all, and y'all taking good care of them.
Thank you.
Wonderful things. Roll out the cat.
Kenny Wilkerson, he had to take the baby home, so if you come get keys from him, take him in with him. Mr. James McClure, he's not here, I'm sorry he didn't get to come. And Sue McNairn, she didn't get to come either, we have her one. Miss Vern Nix. Becky, if you would, is she gone? Becky, would you come and get Jimmy Lou and Travis's for them, please? She was sick in the bed. My sister was praying, done bought her a new dress. She said to come, and she has sinus real bad. I told her she'd travel as fast as I would, the sinus wouldn't bother. If you'll take this as Jim Lou Travel, I appreciate it.
I don't have a poll, so it won't take too long. But I wanted to recognize those people that I have done a lot of things too. Miss James Daly, will you come forward to these? Y'all come. And these are going to build a church, and we look forward to working with them, building their church. I've got some land, they own land on my place, and build a church. Y'all just keep them in prayers and stuff. And we really appreciate everything that y'all do. Congratulations. It's not night hardly or day goes by that this lady doesn't give me a call. And if I get out of pocket, she calls me different ones to see what's happened to me. Doris, you aren't even listening. Doris, Doris is one of the sweetest persons, and she's a native of Butler County, lived here all her life, and is a wonderful person. Doris, would you please come forward and take this? Well, my head, you stay up for a few minutes. Y'all have been sitting there pretty good while. Don't fall, Doris. Doris, I love you, Doris, with all my heart. Thank you for coming and the things that you've done. Get everything. And this lady has meant so much to me over the years of time. And I don't even think she thinks she's going to get anything. But Jennifer Hartley and I, we go back for several years, and I've never known a person in her position to be as sweet and kind and helpful on both sides of any case there ever was. So Jennifer, we're so fortunate in Butler County to have someone of your integrity and for your faithfulness in working that you put child apart. And I love you, God bless you, and this is your board. And I had one more, but Angie Long didn't come tonight. We had one to give to Angie, and I think all of you know Angie, so that's my little. I turn it back over to you.
I'm going to ask this lady, she's walking down the aisle right now, Miss Alberta Johnson, to come forward. And I would like to tell y'all a real good story on her. We lost Joe, my handicapped brother, one night. Everybody was gone to the ball game. It was on a Friday night. And there wasn't anybody in town much, but it wasn't long before there was about 400 people come to help hunt him. So Alberta got a hold of it, and she got up, and here she come up there by herself, dark. She stayed, she stayed, she stayed, and stayed. So it was getting around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, it was a freezing. I mean, the trees was about to bust. And I said, oh my God, if we don't find him, he'll freeze to death tonight. He went out to pick pears, and he had his little basket and everything to carry to the school. He thought he had to carry something to school every morning. And he went the wrong way and went in behind Lomac County College, back down in there. So Diane Harris was the sheriff at that time. She was a wonderful sheriff. And she come and went and helped hunt him and do this and that and other and all. But Alberta come and they went out in the woods and went 3 or 4 or 5 miles back in there. And everybody else gave it up to them. And when they did, Diane told Alberta to call Joe. And Joe, she called Joe. And the sweetest thing she ever heard. And Joe said, yeah. You know, then he wasn't dead, you know. So this is the story, though, that was so good. He'd come back home, and he went to crying and said he was sorry, you know. And I said, that's okay, we found you. You was going to pick pears. Because, you know, he and I didn't quarrel. We loved each other. And when he did, he wouldn't let Alberta go home, so Alberta had to sleep with him that night. He would not let Alberta go home. He said, I don't want, you can't sleep with me, I want Alberta. Alberta spent the night with him to make sure he was taken care of. So we all loved her at school. He loved her. And he'd sleep anything he could, go give it to her, and this and that and other. But she was good to all of those children over there. and she's just a good person. I love you. I love you. Something about somebody.
Miss, William got a set of glasses about like that, so nice autumn. One morning I went to school, and Joe, he got off the bus, he handed it to me. I said, oh no, you gonna have to take this home. I said, Miss Williams, want it again? So I called her. She said, well, if Joe give it to you, you keep it. And it's in my cabinet right now. And one day when I drove up there, and Mr. Mack had put a, what's it called? A stone on the side of the school. And Joe come on. I said, what you want, Joe? Come on. He went and pointed at that stone in the road and pointed at him. I said, your name ain't on that? No. I said, well, do you want your name on that? Yes. So I went in and called Miss Joanne Hollyfield, and she called Mr. May. It wasn't but a few minutes before somebody was out there putting Joe's name on it. Yeah, Joe had his name on that. He was a best friend of mine, so he would stay with me sometime at night, and I just loved it. So thank y'all very much.
I'm gonna just read these names now. This is Miss Nellie Holcomb that didn't get Crum, Miss Linda Vander Bosch, Miss Harriet Poole was gone to a wedding, Miss Janice Lehman, Ms. Lisha Poole, Miss Fern Nix. And this is another one of my little favorite ladies, Miss Magnolia Brown. Papa was sick. I was sick at home. He loved dumplings, and I couldn't make good dumplings. So one morning I heard a little knock on the door while he was sick. When I opened the door, there she cooked with a pressure cooker full of dumplings. And she said, now I didn't cook these dumplings for you. I cooked them for Mr. Wig. So I didn't eat none of them. He ate every one of those. 84 years old, driving a car and wrote Papa a big old Papa dumpling. Thank you, Mother.
Get old that time, you step this short, you just be so thankful for somebody to thank you. Thank you very much.
Let me read these names and then pick yours up. Frank Pigpen, Milton Lucky, Larry Lane, Reese Rayburn, Mr. Bill Bates, Gary Thompson, Oliver Dexter McClinton, our mayor, he's out of town, Larry Jones, and Kenny Hart, we didn't give him here, okay? And Miss Hazel Horn, she was gone to a wedding. Mr. Robert Burdette, Ms. Jean Thompson was gone out of town. Kenneth Gibson was gone out of town. And then I have one more, Jimmy Crum. I sure am glad that Jimmy took time and they came by to ask me to help with this. And what we'd like to do is do it annual, and next year we'll allow, if you have someone that you think, when we start to have it and hear about it, if you all will contact us, we'll get them one, ask them to come, and we start a bank account at the bank, and anybody that wants to give something to put in there to get it together going, and have some friends you'd like to say, well, I'd like you to invite, because the more you do this, you get your friends together, and we want the county working together, and all of us being together, because that's just about the only way you're going to make it in life. And the 3rd of June, I'll be 79, and I know it'll work, because I made it work myself, okay?